ओजस्तेजोद्युतिधरः प्रकाशात्मा प्रतापनः ऋद्धस्पष्टाक्षरो मन्त्रः चन्द्रांशुर्भास्करद्युतिः ओजस्तेजोद्युतिधरः 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 प्रकाशात्मा प्रतापनः प्रकाशात्मा प्रतापनः प्रकाशात्मा प्रतापनः ऋद्धस्पष्टाक्षरो मन्त्रः ऋद्धस्पष्टाक्षरो मन्त्रः ऋद्धस्पष्टाक्षरो मन्त्रः चन्द्रांशुर्भास्करद्युतिः 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 ओजस्तेजोद्युतिधरः प्रकाशात्मा प्रतापनः ऋद्धस्पष्टाक्षरो मन्त्रः चन्द्रांशुर्भास्करद्युतिः. In this shloka number 30, we have 8 names from 275 to 282. The 275th nama is Ojas Tejo Dyuti Dharaha. For the purpose of Pushparchana, we say Om Ojas Tejo Dyuti Dharaya Namaha. Based on the root Dyutihi, there are 3 other namas, Mahadhyutihi, Bhaskaradyutihi and Dyutidharaha. One who is endowed with strength, vigor and brilliance is the value associated with this nama. Shankaracharya gives the reference to Gita from chapter 7, shloka number 10 and 11. There are 2 things that he emphasizes: Tejas Tejasvinam Aham and Balam Balavatam Cha Aham. And he provides his Anubhavam as Ojaha Prana Bhalam, Tejaha Shauryadaya Gunaha, Dyutihi Deeptihi Taha Dharayate iti Ojastejo Dyutidharaha. The description highlights the qualities of Paramatma as the one who embodies and sustains. Ojaha, vitality, the source of life and energy that empowers existence. Tejas, radiance, the brilliance of spiritual and inner power. Dyutihi, splendor, the external and visible magnificence that reflects inner strength. The Nama Ojas Tejo Dyutidharaha celebrates Bhagavan as the one who is the ultimate bearer of these essential qualities that uphold creation, inspire courage and radiate brilliance. Acharya also gives an alternate Anubhavam. Athava, alternately, Ojas Teja iti Namadvayam suggests that Ojas and Tejas are recognized as a pair of names or qualities. Dyuti, splendor, brilliance or light. Jnana Lakshanam, characterized by knowledge. It symbolizes the light of understanding and awareness that emanates from the divine. Deeptim refers to the effulgence or glow that is both internal as in spiritual and external as in manifested splendor. Dharayate iti, one who holds or embodies these characters. Herein, Ojaha and Tejas are the qualities and they are characterized by knowledge. One who bears light which enlightens such knowledge and drives the Ojas and Tejas is Bhagavan. For the meditation value, we contemplate on how the 2 characteristics of Ojas refers to the strength derived from the core of the life and that which is essential for survival and action, and Tejaha, which symbolizes the inner light, courage and spiritual power, both of which are dependent on knowledge. That knowledge is the expression of the light, the Dyutihi of Paramatma. Realizing that knowledge is not acquired, rather the light of knowledge already exists but is clouded by our own resistance and ignorance. You work towards removing that cloud and let the Dyuti in you to express itself. Remember, this way of developing yourself is like the flower blossoming. It has to go through its full process. The 276th Nama is Prakashatma. For the purpose of Pushparchana, we say Om Prakashatmane Namaha. The root Prakashanaha was seen in Shloka number 29. The Nama Prakashatma is given to Bhagavan because he is the source of all illumination, both physical and spiritual. It is he who dispels ignorance, provides clarity, and reveals the ultimate truth. He serves as the inner light of consciousness in all the beings. Bhagavan is the foundation of all existence and knowledge. Shankaracharya states, because himself is of the nature of light, Prakasha Swarupa Atma Yasya, he is called as Prakashatma. He is that light in you which dispels ignorance. We quote Dhritarashtra's word for it. Tvameva Pundarikaksha Sarvasya Jagat Prabhu. Tasmat Te Yadavashrestha Prasadam Kartumarhasi. Even though he was blind, he was able to see the greatness of Bhagavan is the significance of this quote. For meditation purposes, we should contemplate on people who challenge the existence of God. I accept God does not exist. To me, existence is God. One who knows existence is God knows God. But one who searches for the existence of God is often let down as the existence is not too. This name is a reminder to seek the light of wisdom, the self-realization and devotion from within, as it connects us to the infinite radiance of the divine. The 277th Nama is Pratapanaha. For the purpose of Pushparchana, we say Om Pratapanaya Namaha, means one who burns. Tapaha means to burn. Pra is Prakashena, emphasizing intensity, expansion or dominance. Taittiriya Upanishad says, Tapasa Brahma Vijignyasasva. Through tapas, seek the realization of Brahman. Instead of Jignyasasva, the Upanishad uses Vijignyasasva. This is to establish Paramatma is not an object of knowledge. Pratapanaha represents what one can realize through tapasya. Shankaracharya expresses his anubhavam as Savitri Adi Vibhutibihi Vishwam Pratapayati. By Savitri Adi, Acharya indicates the divine powers and energies starting with Savitri and those forces that generate heat, which as divine power causes the universe to energize and function. Surya, Aditya and Savita are often seen as a direct reference to sun. However, this is not accurate. Aditya reflects the cosmic dimension of the sun as a divine principle. Surya is the physical manifestation, and Savita represents the spiritual essence, a cosmic force of the sun beyond its physical or visible form. Savitri as the cosmic force is associated with the role of a divine inspirer who motivates all beings and sets the universe in motion. Thus, the reference is to the one who manifests himself as the essential thermal energy that lends life potential to the very atmosphere around all, enabling them in their functions. We also take the reference from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse 12. यदादित्यगतं तेजो जगद्भासयतेऽखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्छाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम्. It is I who manifests as the heat and light in the sun and the moon and the fire. This is taken as the power in each of us that keeps us fertile. For meditation, the value is every situation that comes as a resistance or challenge to my progress is the expression of the Supreme as Pratapanaha. Such situations are the blessings from the God. They are to make me strong and support me in the process of my duty to do my Kshetra Paripalana. The 278th Nama is Ruddha. For the purpose of Pushparchana, we say Om Ruddhaya Namaha. This Nama will come again in Shloka number 38. One who is full of prosperity, one who is full or complete, as in perfect in all respects. Shankaracharya expresses his anubhavam as dharma, jnana, vairagya adibhihi upetatvat riddha. Dharma meaning righteousness, moral law or universal order. Jnana meaning knowledge, wisdom or realization. Vairagya meaning dispassion or detachment. Adibhihi, it simply means etc. or others. This can be seen to include 6 areas of perfection that we speak about: Jnanam, Balam, Aishwaryam, Viryam, Shakti and Tejas. There are some who associate it with all the Devim Sampath, which comes in the Bhagavad Gita. This comes in chapter 16. Upe Tatvat, it means due to being endowed with or in possession of. Riddha, he is called Riddha, one who is prosperous, one who is accomplished, one who is perfected, etc. For the meditation purposes, we take the value to prosper. When we speak of Kshetra Paripalana, the focus is to prosper, to drive towards prosperity. Prosperity of a person without the prosperity of the whole is no prosperity at all. Dharma teaches us that prosperity lies in even sacrificing oneself for a greater cause. The principles as established in the Niti Shastra, Ekam Tyajet Kulasyarte, Gramasyarte Kulam Tyajet, Gramam Janapadasyarte, Atmarthe Prithvim Tyajet. A very beautiful shloka that emphasizes the importance of the larger context. A prosperity of a smaller unit at the cost of larger unit is actually a sin. If you wish to bring prosperity to your kshetra, ensure that it is not at the cost of bringing down harm to the larger one. As in, your prosperity should not be at the cost or a harm to your family or to your nation. The 279th Nama is Spashta Aksharaha. For the purpose of Pushparchana, we say Om Spashtaksharaya Namaha. There are 3 ways to interpret this Nama. First one is Akshara in relation to Kshara Purushaha and Akshara Purushaha. This comes in the 15th chapter, Shlokas 16 to 18 in Bhagavad Gita. In chapter 8 as well, Bhagavan says Aksharam Brahma Paramam. that which is supreme and doesn't decay, is called Brahman or Aksharaha. In the 15th chapter, Bhagavan clarifies this further and says that all those made of the Panchabhutas are Kshara Purushaha. The Atma that enables each Jivan to function is Akshara Purushaha. And other than these two, a third Purushaha exists, which is called Uttama Purushaha. Spashtaksharaha refers to Uttama Purushaha. The second is expressed by Sri Bhattar. His Anubhavam of the Nama is that Bhagavan is Spashtaksharaha because he is revealed through the letters or the words of Vedas very clearly. The expressions in Vedas are logical and complete, removing the possibility of any misunderstanding. One who is revealed with such precision through Veda is Spashtaksharaha. For the third interpretation, we take Shankaracharya and others who attribute the value of Om. Acharya expresses his Anubhavam as Spashtam Udattam Omkara Lakshanam Aksharam Asya iti Spashtaksharaha. Spashtam means clear, distinct or explicit. Udattam means elevated, exalted or emphasized. Omkaraha refers to Om, the most fundamental expression of Brahman. Lakshanam, having the characteristic of Aksharam, imperishability. Alternately, we can take it as the syllable and attribute it to Om. Asya iti Spashtaksharaha. In summary, the Omkara, which is clear, Spashtam, and elevated, Udattam, is the defining characteristic, Lakshanam, of the eternal and the imperishable concept called Brahman. Hence, Bhagavan is called Spashtaksharaha. For meditation purposes, we take the value of Om to be the representation of all-pervading one God. We must contemplate on ourselves to find what is Kshara, the one which keeps constantly changing, that which is Aksharaha, that which you can see is not changing, the undecaying, the I. You will see the I, but develop the understanding of that I you have seen as an object. Move to the realization that the base for both is the subject I, which is God. The 280th Nama is Mantraha. For the purpose of Pushparchana, we say Om Mantraya Namaha. As per dictionary, the meanings are spell, consultation, deliberation, etc. Shankaracharya expresses his Anubhavam as Rig Yajus Sama Lakshanaha Mantraha. Rigvedic mantras focuses on the praising of the deities, creating an atmosphere of reverence and invoking their blessings. Yajurvedic mantras provide instructions for the performance of rituals, ensuring that the offerings and sacrifices align with the cosmic principles. Samavedic mantras add musical rhythm and melody, elevating the ritualistic experience to a divine and a meditative state. Bhagavan encapsulates the essence of Vedic mantras, hence he is called as Mantraha. This is established through Rig Veda, establishing thoughtful intentions, Yajurveda establishing prescribed actions, and Samaveda establishing emotional and spiritual immersion. An alternate Anubhavam that Acharya expresses is Mantra Bodhyatvat. Alternately, because Bhagavan as a concept can be understood or realized through the mantra. Another expression given by an Acharya is Tan Mantaram Thrayate iti mantraha. Tanmantaram, that process of contemplation, Trayate, to protect us from harm and ignorance, or that which liberates us from bondage, is mantra. The declarations of the Vedas, which are in the form of mantras, are the vehicles that will take us on the path of liberation. Traditionally, the term mantra is associated to Veda, or that which has been delivered by a guru for a specific purpose. The verse that comes in scriptures such as Vishnu Sahasranama or Bhagavad Gita, Purans, etc., are traditionally referred to as shloka, reserving the term mantra to represent only the verses mentioned in Veda or specific verse given by a guru during mantropadesh. For meditation, we contemplate on the value of deliberation. Every bit of information that one receives must be deliberated. A knowledge is not a declared information. It is something that which is realized. This cannot happen unless the information is digested into yourself. The process of enabling that is the conscious deliberation referred to as mananam. Mantra is that which enables the deliberation and guides us to the realization of the truth. A clear direction that the words of Veda, for that matter any scripture, are for one to contemplate and arrive at the truth. The 281st Nama is Chandramshuhu. For the purpose of Pushparchana, we say Om Chandramshave Namaha. Rays of the moon is the meaning of this word. Moonlight has got an effect upon the herbs was known to India even in the Vedic period. Bhagavad Gita chapter 15 shloka 13 establishes this. Gamavishya cha bhutani dharayamaha mojasa pushnami chaushadhi sarvaha somo bhutva rasatmakaha. Here Bhagavan says that it is his power through the rays of the moon which nurtures and nourishes the herbs, and in fact all the beings. Though this is both a deep philosophical and a scientific concept, we will limit ourselves to seeing the beauty and the calmness that the moon brings to our mind as a reflection of the Supreme. Shankaracharya expresses his anubhavam on this nama as samsara tapatigmamshu tapatapita chetasam chandramshuhu ahlada karatvat. Just as the rays of the moon bring joy and comfort to those whose minds are scorched by the intense heat of worldly sufferings, which is the samsara, so does the thought of the divine act as a soothing and joyous force for us. Here Bhagavan is called Chandramshu. Tapatik Mamshu is Tapaha Atigma Amshuhu is the way it is formed. The intense burning giving reference to the effect of samsara. The same thing goes with Tapatapita, means mental turmoil that we suffer due to samsara, which is bondage. Ahlada Karatvat refers to the soothing, joyful, comforting effect that moon brings on us. The man, as in the mind, is considered to be affected by the moon. Full moon, which is Purnima, and new moon, which is Amavasa, are considered significant because they are thought to amplify the emotional and mental state. While Purnima is associated with heightened emotional sensitivity, Amavasya is associated with introspection and potential mental turbulence. This is also shared by other systems such as Greek, Roman, Chinese, etc. From a scientific analysis, to date there is a clear evidence of moon having an effect on the gravity, especially on large spread surfaces such as ocean. With respect to the moon having an impact on the mind, the current stand of the scientific community is that they have a mixed evidence of moon having an effect in mind. Placebo effect is attributed by some, which is the belief that the belief moon has an impact creates an impact. This is in some, and though there is no direct correlation to cause and effect to establish a scientific conclusion regarding moon's impact on the mind, it is generally agreed that moon has an impact on the mind. For meditation, we contemplate on the radiating light of the moon is the radiance of the God. Both this nama and the next are to emphasize the value of being able to see everything as God. It is important that the ability to see everything as God arises in us. This is the only way our ego can be overcome successfully. To this, having the moon and the sun as divinity that helps sustain the life here is a great beginning. To be then able to see God in ocean, rain, air, etc. as divinity is an easy second step. Then extending it to the animals, plants, the ecosystems, the co-beings would be the third. And at last, the self as part of the whole and seeing the whole as the God is realization. The 282nd nama is Bhaskara Dyutihi. For the purpose of Pushparchana, we say Om Bhaskara Dyutaye Namaha. Dyuti as a root word has multiple other names like Ojas Tejo Dyutidharaha, Mahadyutihi, Dyutidharaha, etc. Shankaracharya expresses his anubhavam as Bhaskara Dyutihi Sadhamya Ardha. Bhaskara refers to the sun as the source of illumination, warmth and energy, often symbolizing the divine brilliance, knowledge and power. Dyutihi is the radiance or the lustre, contextually sun's radiance. Sadhamya, equality, similarity or likeness, implies a resemblance or comparison to the brilliance of sun. Ardha, possesses or is endowed with. This is the meaning that Shankaracharya gives. Because God possesses or God is endowed with the radiance which is something similar to that of the sun, he is called as Bhaskara Dyutihi. One whose power to illuminate resembles the radiance of the sun. It reflects qualities such as illumination, power, purity, and the ability to dispel darkness. One who embodies the sun's transformative and sustaining nature is Bhaskara Dyutihi. The beauty of expression comes as we see the heat is used for sun, establishing the ability of the sun to burn. Instead, for the moon, the nama uses Amshaha. One of the meanings of Amshaha is inheritance or portion. Chandra or the moon is expressed as one which takes the portion of its light, inheriting it from the sun and reflecting upon us. While sun burns, the other cools it. This contrast is the value for meditation. We should meditate on the two names together with the value that both sides of the world, one that which burns you and one that which cools you down, are expressions of God. We often tend to embrace that which is preferred and reject that which we don't prefer. Together, Chandramshu and Bhaskaradyutihi should help us in developing our ability to embrace both.